Hello again. It's me, your friendly designer Boyan. So, there were lots of changes to this game. As I already stated on my BGG post, I had to do lots of stuff a bit differently because the game was just too easy. Something didn't work. But so let's go in this video just through all the changes. Uh, First change you're gonna see here is the map. As you can see, I added this little place where we're gonna keep these Elden Ring tokens or counters for now, which you can get later on. Turn sequence is a bit different. There are two turns when some landings rules come into play. We still have a naval like bombardment phase. The little truck with the scepter are gonna come into turn 5. Turn 6 and 8 there are basically portals gonna open whatever you do, even if you roll for the event phase later on, so there could be multiple portal openings during these turns, and I'm not so sure we actually need 13 turns. We're gonna see about that. Right now it's like this, might be some changes. Morale phase instead of end phase. Now morale will automatically go down for some nations randomly, as they are like, they're on the island full of monsters, so they're getting scared. They're not so sure in the outcome of this mission, so they slowly losing their morale, which should also remove these pluses, because at the beginning they really matter too much, but later on without them it's going to be tough. Air support, all the tokens are now the same, because it just didn't work with the different tokens. I said that 3 of 3, you might get an air support, as you know, as you get this airport here. And this really matters in the late game. So you need to take that airport space if you want to win. That's how it is. One more gun battery shown up on the shore, with 4 of them, and you just actually now can see that I split these ships that can reach the blue parts of the island and the red parts of the island. So if you lose some of these ships, you will not be able to provide support here, like if you lose all of them actually. And all the batteries can shoot all the ships, so they are not like they are not limited like these blue batteries cannot shoot only blue ships. They're actually gonna shoot all the ships, so you really have problems with these shore batteries, and you need to shut them down really quick, otherwise it's just you're gonna lose these ships. And without these ships you will not have enough dice to roll for supply and troops. It's changed. This is how it works like right now. You probably noticed in the previous video that all these units are like of the same let's say division. Well, it's a brigade, so not a division, yeah, these are brigades, I guess. And this is how you stack them, and this is the brigade. So now the whole brigade can move around. There are no mixing and matching these, like I cannot take from here and place it here. That just doesn't work. So every nation fights for itself. You cannot, like, got some units from one nation and mix it with the other. That just doesn't work. So you have like whole brigade moving together, and the maximum you can have them in one area is like 2 of these stacks, which represents 1 brigade. Eventually they will go down, so you have to move them together, or you can just use one to attack. But that's the rule for stacking right now. Basically it's changed from counting these as a separate units, it just count them as 1 brigade. And also when they activate, they're all going to be flipped and they're all going to be exhausted. But when you need to supply them, you're going to roll number of dice depending how many ships you have left. Let's say it's 3 for now. When you have all the ships, And what you're looking for, let's say we're rolling for the supply, is the number should be equal or higher than the number of units in the brigade. So with this 5, I can flip all this stack. If it was exhausted, I can flip it back. This one will not work for me because as you can, unless you only have, you suffer some casualties, so there is only 1 unit in the brigade, then you can flip it even with this one. So you'll be able to resupply them if they have less of the units. If they are full strength, then it's going to be harder to supply them basically. So with these 3, I can, as you can see, there are 4 here in this stack. The UK units have the only one stack with these 4. I might make another one with those. We'll see through play testing. But so with these 3, I will not be able to do this. But if I spend a 3 and a 1, now I can do it. So basically these can be a split. You can combine 2 for now, but you cannot dissolve these dice. Like for instance, if I have let's say 2 of here, they are exhausted, and I have 3 of here exhausted. So if I have a 5, I have to choose. Either I'm going to use a 5 to get these units resupply, or this one. So I cannot split the number, but I can add. Okay, so that's how it works. So with these 3, I can, let's say I roll a 3 and 1, I can resupply these guys. I cannot do nothing with this one because there are 2 units. Let's say they suffer casualty, there are 2 units there. Oh, but I can combine 2 dice to supply 1 full brigade. So that's how the supply works right now. So there will be no many supplies, but if you're winning battles, you will get one of these tokens, which can, you spend 1 and you resupply the whole stack. So you will have to keep these supplies, bank them, but they're also limited. This is limited by the number of components. So there are 8 of them. So you're usually going to have 8 or less to supply later on. Those are big major changes. Also with the movement of troops, previously you can move like 1 space. Now you can move multiple spaces within one of these stacks, but you have to stop when you enter the space with enemies. So let me show. Let's say I have a friendly unit here. There are 2 stacks. They can be mixed. I mean, not mixed like with units, but mixed type of stacks. So 2 nations, let's say Ottoman and Brits, can stand in the same area. So this area is now full. And let's say we have a German unit and there is enemy here. So I can use German unit and move all the way through this stack and attack the enemy, and then I have to stop there. Later on, when these guys move, if this is clear, they can move through this space, but the moment they enter the space with the enemy, they have to stop and fight. So you can cover multiple areas if you clear these spaces, which means it will be really important to maybe for the central forces to clear some areas and then wait for these guys to also move in, and they're going to move in faster when the areas are clear. So that's a big change there. Also, here's a big change on the map. Morale stays the same. Sanity, now you only need 1 cube, and you go, when you get to 0, all the brigades from this nation are removed from a map. They just disbanded. It's over for them. So the sanity will take a big part in the game, and it's actually lower when you're fighting these harder units. Let me show you here. For some instance, usually it happens when you're losing battles, but also sometimes even when you win a battle, you're going to lose some sanity. Like here, if the difference. Oh, also about the battles, same thing. You combine all the attack power of your enemy, but now you roll 2d6, because when you previously I roll only 1d6, it was such a short span that it was too deterministic, and also this wouldn't be able to work like difference between 2 strengths. Then it would be a really low difference. I would always be somewhere here, and I need to go all the way to 6. So there are 2d6s after you combine strength and all the support, and then you check the difference and you check here. That's why this goes 6 or more, because you can actually now go more than 6. Counterattacks works as before. I'll lower some of them. I can actually show you. There are some of them were going all the way up to 8 previously, but now they are from 5 to 7. But lots of them are d6, which could be really small counterattacks. Why? Because you're actually adding this to the number on the enemy units, and enemy units are now all changed. I increase their strength, so now these guys go from 8 to 9, and these guys can go d6 plus something, so they also gonna be could be get to these numbers. So it's not gonna be easy now to kill these cultists, and especially with the bonuses of the areas, which I also somewhere I put them a bit higher. Like there are no zeros anymore. Now every area has some kind of a additional. So they're gonna be kind of really depending on your support and how many units you use and how many stacks you use, and you will have to plan your things much better from now on, because all these guys will probably be close to your strength. Some of them even gonna be above your strength, so it's gonna be difficult. What else? Change these tokens to be like this. You place this when you destroy these, and I made lots of them because during the naval bombardment, when you can use few ships. Well, you're not going to use few ships. You're going to use all the ships. Sorry, it's just going to work like that. So you're using all the ships, but when you're going to roll 6 dice, but 4 and a 5 will remove the bonus from the how it's called, from the area, but it will not destroy the unit that was there, enemy unit. But if you any 6 will actually completely destroy the enemy unit. So only 6s will clear the spaces, and since all the naval batteries will fight back, you're gonna use 6 dice. So you're gonna try to clear as much as possible with those rolls on the first turn. There are no events for first turns. There are landing now effects. Basically, if you're landing on a beach, there are some spaces, so there will be stacks. Let me show you. They probably look like this. Let's say Russians are landing here. And again, you can choose to go only with 1 stack with 2, knowing that whatever comes into contact with enemy will all be exhausted. But let's say you attack with 1 stack and you suffer a defeat and you have to retreat. Well, you cannot do that, so instead of getting a retreat, you actually, for each retreat, you getting another unit lost. So you will stay on the beach, you will be exhausted, but you're gonna lose additional units. So if it's a retreat, it's just lost 1 unit, but if it's a retreat and lost a unit, that's 2 units you're gonna lost. Or it's really bad, like retreat, and let's say 2 unit loss, that's a 3 unit loss. So you can lose whole stack because they cannot retreat into the sea. You have to hold the beaches. So that's why I probably want to commit all the forces, but then again, they're all going to be exhausted, and supply is kind of, you really don't know how much you're going to get, and so on and so on. So right from the start, it's going to be a tough battle. All right, so what else did I change? Oh yeah, I added these tokens, which will be placed here face down on these black spots, and one of these is actually where the Cthulhu's tomb is. So once you enter and uncover all of that, you also need to clear enemy forces. So you're basically looking for the Cthulhu's tomb it's gonna be one of these four. It's gonna be always different. So it could be like one of these frontal, or maybe it's here, maybe it's here, but you will have to fight. And these monsters are now really tough. I can show you. They go all the way to 15, and there is even possibility to 16 here, or lower. So there is one that could be really high or kind of lower than the rest of these green or yellow. And then don't forget that I also get these pluses, and they can also ambush. And you know, when you get ambushed, that you actually using these numbers, which are always lower, depending on the nation, always lower than your first number. So for instance, you're tanking, when it's ambushed, it's only 2, while it's stacking is 4. So some of these stacks will be really low if they ambush you. And then you're probably gonna get some losses, counterattacks, and then you get even more destroyed. So yeah, I'm guessing it's gonna be a really tough battle. So also, these previously was just minuses. Now I'm using pluses, and you just place them on the unit you're supporting, so that units can move with that. So for instance, like let's say I'm supporting French with some ships, the +3, you put this on and you move them here. They do their stuff, but you remove this after the battle. Okay, so that's easier to follow. They have a like plus more support, and you can support all the way, depending what ship are alive, all the way up to here. But you always need to clear these naval batteries, because every time you do a support with the ships, the moment you place the support during the support phase, you will be shot back by the naval batteries. And I'm actually thinking it's gonna be just like, depending which ship you used, that's how many dice the naval battery is gonna use. I think that's more like logic thing to do. So I guess during the naval battery attack, you can go all the way in, but they all gonna fire back. We can just use maybe these 3 to fire here, which means they can actually miss you if they hit. If they roll 1, 2, or 3, they will not hit, because only from red they can only hit red. I guess that's a more logical thing to do. That's about it, I guess. Everything else is the same. This has been changed. Some of the events have been changed. Like for now here, like morale troops is breaking, flip this is brigade. So you flip the whole stack to the exhaust side. You don't flip the units. And now you lose morale for all the nations, and so on and so on. Okay. That's the major update. And we're gonna see how that works when you play through. I already played a few games and it works fine for now. I don't see any more things that could be broken, I guess. But as every of these working progress games, like design process is never over. You always find something that can be done differently, and I thought this would be like an easy process, but it is really not. There are a lot of moving pieces, lots of math around the strength of units, and like you need to predict what can happen and kind of make some kind of balance. That game is like hard, but like you can still beat it and stuff like that. So we will see how that's gonna work. Anyway, that's an update for the attack on R'lyeh. See you in the next time with the next video, and wish me luck. Goodbye.